I feel like recording this video. We'll see if if I post it somewhere. I don't know, but Ryan and I just drove over to Cape Coral, so I had a nice long car ride this morning. We're going to visit my dad and his wife, Marianne. And I used to watch Kat Von D with all her tattooing shows way back in the day. I think I have some lipstick from her, and I don't follow her, but one of a video came up in the feed about her getting baptized and going to religion now. She's a Baptist and going full on Jesus. And I was curious about it. I never followed her for anything in terms of occultism. I don't consider myself New Age because I definitely believe you have to take action and do the work. And often New Age people kind of get in that whole like sit back and everything's just going to happen for you. So I consider myself extremely grounded spiritual person. And I was fascinated to hear why she has completely revoked any type of occultism, New Age, anything like that. I was just curious and gone very Jesus. And it was interesting to listen to this podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast. She's seems very lovely. I think it actually is called Relatable. I just can't remember her name. But the podcast is called Relatable, very big Christian podcast. Good for her. It's awesome. And what I was looking for within the context of this hour-long podcast is why? Like, what did something happen? Did something like bad happen? Or did you just really realize that it's all within yourself? Like, you don't need tarot card decks. Like, I don't need to wear this crystal. I just love it. I think it's fun. Like, I do different things because I think they're fun. I don't journal because like I have to journal. Like, I just journal because it's fun. Like, I love it. I love the thought processes. And that's unfortunate, like within New Age, is because, and that was one of her points, was people then actually are really struggling and they're thinking that like that's the band-aid, like that's going to fix things overnight. And she's right. That's just not true. Like, you have to do the work. You have to do the work inside your head of what's going on, and you have to do the work in the 3D. And this is the whole premise of my model as a business mentor, which is straight up on my website. So what I found really interesting was she didn't really get to like why she switched over, like what was the change. And what was actually what I pulled from this, which is a little bit of what I just said, is that she's just going from like one thing to another. She's an addict. She talks about being an addict. She was in drinking and drugs. She is an addict. If you are an addict, you are an addict. And a lot of addicts go from one thing to another. I have known many people that are addicts that gave up drinking and went to running, gave up drinking and went to being a diver. Having an addictive personality is a thing, is literally a thing. And some of us have addictive personalities and some of us don't. I do not have an addictive personality. My heart goes out with so much compassion to people that do. And there's a lot of people that do have addictive personalities that don't even like realize this concept, that they're just switching from like one thing to another. And I feel that's like really what she's done, is she just went from having an addictive personality around all things occultism, witchcraft, New Age, however you want to bucket it. There's, lines between all of those that I just said, and someone can be involved in all of that at the same time in different aspects. But she really just went from like one addiction really to another addiction, which is her religion and being about Christ and really thinking that God and Jesus are separate from us. Like, we're all God, like we're all energy. Like, this is not that one thing is like above the other, and that's still the bucket she's in. So it's really fascinating. I still really, I like her. Again, I don't follow her. I just was curious about the interview and what she was going to say. And I give so much props to anyone on this journey because it's a journey. It's a journey. I've met people that were someone they considered, they considered themselves spiritual and they did all the spiritual things. And then all of a sudden now they're like an atheist. And then they may flip back and forth. Maybe then they'll discover, church and want to go to a church and be in a religious sector. But it just really surprised me. So it's kind of like she stopped the new age occultism witchcraft energies, and instead of fully embodying that all of this is just within us, all of this is within us, she then went to just another thing. So again, blessings on the journey. It is a journey. Whether you agree with any type of occultism or you agree with religion is not my point. My point is really just recognizing like where you are and that this is a journey. And at the end of the day, we all have it within us. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say was, and I've mentioned this before on my podcast, was my best manifestations were way before I did anything. I didn't go to church. I haven't gone to church since I was a kid. I didn't practice anything. I didn't like pull an oracle card, whatever. I certainly don't have oracle cards to dictate my life. It's just a fun tool. And I don't even really use them that much anymore. Just once in a while. I like to shuffle cards. Kind of a weird thing. I just like to shuffle. Anyhow. But the best things that manifested the fastest for me was when I was just being myself and I didn't care. And I didn't have any tools, no social media, nothing. It was just being myself. And yes, I ruffled feathers for sure. And yes, I got in trouble in the corporate world for sure. And then the corporate world dumbed me down. Made me doubt myself, made me change behaviors that were not in alignment with my true self, with my true soul. So it really brought me back to remembering that, right? And I think that's the journey that she's probably on too, is just getting back to her. Whatever her may be is cool. It's really cool. If she's a mixture of all these things, because she's obviously still dressed like she has always been dressed, which I think she looks amazing, then that's cool. And she's just trying to figure things out. So again, it's all a journey. I hope something in this video relates for you. And we'll see what comes next, right? Maybe she's going to have a new TV show. Bye for now.